Paladins is now playable on Linux. Or actually, it has been playable on Linux since a couple of months already, but I only got to know about this, I believe, 3 weeks ago. And I also posted this on Reddit, and it got quite a, like it got, I believe, something between 50 and 60 upvotes, and then I was like, okay, maybe there aren't so many people who know this, so I will also make a video about this to get more people to know this, because in case you didn't know, Paladins was not playable on Linux before because of Paladins anti-cheat system, easy anti-cheat, which is kernel level, and it doesn't work on Paladins because for some reason Hi-Res decided to actively block Linux. Apparently you could play Smite and Smite 2 on Linux because there's apparently a little checkbox within the easy anti-cheat configuration or whatever to allow Linux or Proton or whatever, but for some reason Paladins was the only game of Hi-Res which had easy anti-cheat, which they blocked. But now you can play Paladins on Linux, and this is just a little information video for me to get this information out. And I will also tell you some problems which you will have when you play on Linux and how you can work around them for some of them. Okay, so as you can see, I'm in the main menu. I'm on. Oh my god, this was the wrong key combination. I'm on Linux, as you can see. I'm here on Kubuntu or Kubuntu, whatever. I'm on Linux, and so before you could already start the game and you could go into the shooting range, it would have worked completely normally, like no weird problems, no weird anything. Before it already worked, but you could not queue into a game. So if you were here, you could just run, shoot, and do everything. Everything worked. But as soon as you queued for a game and picked your champion and loaded into the match, a couple of seconds later you would get kicked out of the game, basically, because the game is like, or the anti-cheat is like, this person doesn't have anti-cheat enabled or whatever, and kicks you out of the game back to the main menu or something. I don't know, I only tested it once. But now if you queue for a normal game, you can play it normally. You don't get kicked anymore and it works. That's about that. So just install Paladins, activate Proton, and you're good to go. But now I want to share the problems there are, or show you the problems and how you can work around them, or at least that you know the problems. So the first problem, and probably also the most annoying one, is that sometimes the game basically kinda loses connection to the server or something like that, because sometimes you will, like this disclaimer before I tell you more about this. This does not happen too often. It happens sometimes. I believe in like 10 hours of playing on Linux now, I've had this happen, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. So it happens occasionally, but it's not something which completely ruins the game experience on Linux. It just happens sometimes. Okay, so what am I talking about? Sometimes the game basically loses connection to the server or something like that, because sometimes if you're in the main menu and you're queuing for a game, you will basically never find a game, and this is because you lost connection. And if you would like restart the game, then you would have deserter. This can happen, but I don't think I've had it happen that way. I've had it happen while in champion selection. I believe 2 or 3 times, and it's basically like when you have this connection problem, connection crash, whatever, you will notice that you can't pick a champion anymore, because like you click on the champion and it just doesn't work. And when this happens, you lost. You have to restart the game, and then the basically the message when in the champion selection phase the time ends and someone did not pick a champion, or even before the time ends, and then it's like player X did not select the champion, you're back in the queue in the main menu. Basically this will happen for the other players and you will have to restart, but you will notice when this happens because you can't pick a champion. The other way this can happen is basically also in champion selection, when you already selected a champion and you're waiting and the countdown goes down for the match to start, and then it just stays at 0 and nothing happens for like half a minute. It also happened. But then you can just restart the game, and then you will get into the loading screen and into the match eventually, because it's like you crashed while loading into the game, and you can reconnect to the game, to the match in Paladins when you crash. So this is not a big problem. And I believe this can also happen while being in the loading screen for the match, when you have already selected the champion, that it just loads loads forever. But then again, restart the game and you will be in the match, no problem. And and apparently this can also happen while being in queue, but I don't know if this happened to me yet, so I can't talk about this. But as I said, it did not happen too often in like 10 or 11, 12 hours of playing. So it happens sometimes you will get deserter and have to wait for a couple of minutes to play again, but it is, you can't do a lot about it, and it's not too horrible. It doesn't make it unplayable. What other problems are there? Yeah, exactly. There's a problem. By the way, I will leave the link to ProtonDB in the description, so you can check the basically reviews other people have written for Paladins on Linux and what problems they encountered and how they solved them or whatever. And also the Reddit post, because there are also some comments underneath or below the post where also people have written how they fixed certain things, and you will see what I wrote, because I also explained how to fix these problems which I'm describing to you right now. Another problem is that if you have full screen enabled and tap out of the game with Alt tab, or I don't know, just somehow tap out of it and go back in, you will have sound, but your screen will stay black. And if this happens, then the way I solved it was restarting the game and then set it to borderless window. And this fixed it for me. Then I have borderless window or borderless full screen, however you want to call it, and then you can tab out and tab in, and you will still have you will see something like your screen won't stay black. Exactly, that's one thing. And also, what else is there? Something not really directly related to Paladins, just more or less, is Steam, the Steam clip feature, Steam recording, whatever. This did not work for me. I could not create clips because it would basically say something like Steam recording not available or whatever. The way I fixed it was actually pretty simple, because I was using Proton Experimental, and this was the reason. Why it didn't work. So because I have Proton Experimental configured as the default Proton version for all the games I play, it did not work. So you have to do a right click, properties, compatibility, and select force the use of a specific Steam Play compatibility tool, and then I selected Proton 9.0-4, so the newest version, and now I'm able to use the Steam Play feature, the clipping tool and whatever. This works now, and I think this is all regarding to Paladins on Linux. Regarding performance, I actually am using the highest possible graphic settings, like resolution scale 200, anti-aliasing times X, 8x and everything on maximum and high, and I'm getting in-game constant 165 FPS, and it is limited to 165. So I don't think you have a lot of performance degradation. Maybe it's even better on Proton. I mean, this is something which happens, that you have better FPS and game performance on Proton compared to the native Windows version. So yeah, it works quite good. I believe sometimes there are like lower textures, where just like the certain tree is in a way lower resolution, and it should be with your graphic settings, but I mean, this is nothing which kills the fun of this game or whatever. I think that's already it. Just wanted to get this video out and tell people about this, because this Paladins was one of 2 games for which I had to boot Windows to play, and now it just works on Linux, which is quite nice. And yeah, that's it for this video, and thank you for watching.